Hello, dear pedagogy and second language acquisition students. So today we are going to be talking about classroom management. The first thing I would like you to think about is, what do you think are the factors that influence classroom management the most? Please make notes on your notebook now. If you need, pause the video and take a moment to think about this. Okay, so the objectives of this video presentation are to reflect on the importance of different variables in classroom management, and hopefully for me to share classroom management techniques with you. So buckle up, we're about to start. So let's start with a little bit of a situation analysis. As a future teacher, which one would you like to be in? Would you like to be the bored teacher who doesn't know how to control little kids, who is struggling and suffering to get them to pay attention? Or do you want to be the teacher who has students engaged, who has them participate in class, and who activates everything they know and exploits their potential? It's a good time to think about this. So the first of these factors that affects classroom management is effective lesson planning. First of all, do you think effective lesson planning has a role in classroom management? I kind of just said it did. So what do you think it is? What do you think that effective role of lesson planning is? Once again, stop the video and take some time to take notes on your notebook. Okay, so first of all, effective lesson planning gives shape to a lesson. It gives continuity and consistency to the topics. So for example, if you are using a textbook, an English textbook, it can help you provide this shape, continuity, and consistency. You also have to lesson plan to make sure that your students receive the best every time. It is very evident when we improvise because we haven't prepared a good sound lesson. The second factor, the second benefit of effective lesson planning is balance in the skills. So if we plan accordingly, we can have time, before class to think about the input and the output that students will have time to do in regards to listening, reading, speaking, and writing. However, if we just improvise, we may just go for one of the skills. Different activities present different demands, so if we do not plan effectively, we might encounter trouble and problems in our classroom and not know how to solve them. We may have the solution for specific situations clear, but if a new or emergent situation appears, we may feel or run into roadblocks. So it's important to lesson plan just to think about possible case scenarios in our classes. Okay, so the second factor affecting classroom management, is sitting arrangements. We have students sitting on the floor here. We have students sitting in orderly rows. Yeah. So where students sit in a classroom can determine many things. It can determine first their attitude to each other and to you. So if students are always sitting looking at each other's heads, that happens like what happens at schools normally, then that's the attitude they're going to have. They're going to have an attitude of not engagement, of not involvement, of passive listening, It also determines your attitude to them. So if you are standing up in front of the classroom, being an authoritarian and leader, then of course that's a role you're going to take, and you're not going to let your students be very engaged. However, if they sit in different orders, you can provide them with different activities, different opportunities, different roles. You can play different roles in the class. How they interact. This will also depend on where they sit. So if students, once again, sit only looking at each other's heads, then how do you think interaction is going to happen? and the types of activity they can perform. So as students sit, facing each other, it's easier for them to talk and to check their answers and check their work. But if they sit behind each other, how can they do this? Okay, it's time now to stop the video for a second. I'm going to finish this one here. It's 5 minutes and almost 6, so you must be tired already. So I'm gonna run a second video for the second and third and fourth part of this presentation. It's a pretty long presentation.